Have you ever come across a name in history that just keeps popping up, but you can never quite pin down who or what it is? Well, for thousands of years, that name has been Hermes Trismegistus. He's not quite a god, not quite a man. Today, we're going to unravel this ancient enigma.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This one name shows up in completely different civilizations, wearing completely different masks. I mean, how can one single figure be a god, a philosopher, and a prophet? Are we looking for a person, or is this something else entirely, like an idea, a stream of knowledge flowing through time? That's the mystery we're cracking today. And this, right here, is the heart of the puzzle. In Egypt, he's connected to Thoth, the god of wisdom. Then in Greece, he's known as Hermes, a divine philosopher. Fast forward a few centuries, and in the Islamic world, he's identified with Idris, a prophet. See what I mean? One name, three totally different personas. So let's start digging.
To solve any mystery, you've got to go back to the beginning. And our trail starts in ancient Egypt, the source where this whole tradition begins. This is where we find our first big clue.
Okay, so let's meet Thoth. Now, Thoth wasn't just some run-of-the-mill deity. He was the one who supposedly invented writing, mastered numbers, and kept a record of how the entire universe worked. You know, the other gods might have had the big ideas, but Thoth was the one writing it all down. He wasn't just a messenger of knowledge, he was seen as knowledge itself, personified. Now, as ideas tend to do, this one started to travel. When the Greek world collided with Egyptian culture, this powerful concept of Thoth didn't just vanish, it evolved. And this is where a really crucial transformation takes place.
The Greeks looked at the cosmic wisdom of Thoth and saw a reflection of their own god, Hermes, the messenger who could travel between the world of the gods and the world of humans. And when they combined the two, something new was born. It wasn't just a name swap. This was the birth of Hermes Trismegistus, which literally means thrice great, a title for someone who had reached the absolute peak of wisdom.
And this new figure became the face of a really profound philosophy, written down in text we now call the Corpus Hermeticum. And they proposed a pretty radical idea, that the universe isn't just a random accident, it's the product of a divine intelligence, which they called Nous. But here's the real game changer. They said we humans aren't separate from it. We each have a spark of that divine mind inside us, and through knowledge we can reconnect with it. So learning isn't about cramming new facts into your head, it's about remembering the cosmic truth you already hold within.
So this is our first major break in the case. We're not looking for a single person anymore. The name Hermes became a label for a tradition, a lineage of wisdom that was passed down through generations. The question isn't, who was he anymore? It's what did he represent?
So all of these big, complex ideas were boiled down into one short, incredibly potent text, the Emerald Tablet. This thing is like the master key to the entire Hermetic tradition. It contains the one principle that ties everything together. And right at the heart of the tablet is this one iconic line, as above, so below. It sounds poetic, right? But it's actually making a huge claim about the nature of reality. It's saying that the universe isn't a collection of separate, disconnected things. It's a unified whole, and every part reflects every other part.
This is the idea of cosmic unity. The macrocosm, that's the giant universe out there, and the microcosm, that's you, the individual, are basically mirrors of each other, operating on the exact same rules. So if you want to understand the universe, you have to look within yourself. And if you truly want to understand yourself, you have to look at the universe. This isn't just navel-gazing philosophy. It was seen as a practical way to gain real knowledge.
The best example of this principle in action has to be alchemy. On the surface, yeah, alchemists were trying to turn lead into gold. But that was just the external part, the below. The real work, the above, was internal. For them, lead represented the raw, messy, ignorant state of the human soul. And gold was enlightenment, purity, perfection. The alchemists knew that to transform the metal in the crucible, they first had to transform the consciousness within themselves. It was a technology for perfecting the soul.
But the journey of this knowledge didn't end with the Greeks. It kept moving, traveling into the Islamic Golden Age, where it went through another major transformation, one that actually guaranteed it would survive for centuries more. This timeline really gives us a clear roadmap. It all started with Thoth in Egypt, got turned into a full-blown philosophy in Greece, and then was carefully preserved and even expanded in intellectual hubs like Baghdad. And from there, it was translated from Arabic back into Latin, helping to kickstart the European Renaissance. This knowledge never died. It just kept changing hands.
So what was this next big change? Well, Islamic scholars took Hermes the philosopher and identified him with the prophet Idris, a figure from the Quran known for his immense wisdom. And this wasn't just a lucky guess. It was a really smart, conscious reinterpretation.
And this shift was absolutely fundamental. The wisdom of Hermes was no longer seen as something that humans just figured out on their own. Instead, it was reframed as divine wisdom, revealed directly from God through a prophet. This brilliant move allowed what could have been seen as a pagan philosophy to be accepted and studied. The knowledge wasn't just saved, it was made holy, which ensured it would be protected and passed on.
So, this ancient tradition somehow managed to survive for millennia, passing through culture after culture, changing its shape along the way. But when it finally arrives in our modern world, something else happens. And honestly, the way it's often understood today looks very different from its deep, complex origins.
This contrast is really the key. Ancient Hermeticism was this rigorous, demanding system for understanding the entire cosmos. The ultimate goal was unity with the divine mind. But a lot of modern interpretations have kind of simplified all that down into a set of universal laws that are more focused on personal goals and achievement. The focus has shifted from the cosmos to the self.
So what happened is that while the tradition became way more popular, that popularity came at a price. The deep, complex system that required real discipline and inner work got flattened into something more like a self-help program. The modern echo is not quite the same as the original sound.
All right, we've gathered all the clues. We started this whole thing by asking who Hermes Trismegistus was, and I think now we can finally solve the mystery.
The solution starts when you realize we've been asking the wrong question the whole time. If you go looking for Hermes Trismegistus as one historical person, you're going to hit a dead end every time. The evidence just isn't there.
Because Hermes was never one guy. That name is a label. It's the name for a single, continuous line of wisdom that flowed through different civilizations over thousands of years. The name refers to the tradition itself, not a person.
And this is the final answer. The core truth of this tradition didn't really change, just the way it was expressed. Each culture basically translated the same core ideas into its own language. Egypt used mythology with Thoth, Greece used philosophy with Hermes, and the Islamic world used divine revelation with Idris. 3 different masks, but the same body of knowledge underneath. This whole story shows that some truths can last even if the stories we tell about them change. This wisdom was protected and passed down for millennia, surviving the rise and fall of entire empires. And that leaves us with one last question. The knowledge is still here, hidden in old texts and symbols, but are we still capable of understanding it at its original depth, or are we just looking at the shadows on the wall?